When I was younger, I fell in love with the Northwest, and I loved being outside. Spent most of my life traveling between the beaches and the mountains and even the high desert. Really learned a lot about myself. I learned leadership, I learned self-discipline. I learned all kinds of stuff, and I came up with 3 rules for me to make sure I always come home, because that's the most important part about going outside is making sure you can come back. So the first thing I realized was let somebody know where you're going. Let them know when you're going to come back, and make sure that somebody's coming to look for you. Have a support system. Second thing I learned, toilet paper. Buy it, bring it. Need I say more? The third thing I learned was to have a good compass. Now, I have this compass, and this was given to me by my dad. And his dad gave it to him, and it's led us on a lot of adventures. It's taken me around the state, around the Northwest, and it really means a lot to me. But this is kind of useless, because you see, a compass only provides a frame of reference. It only shows you when you're going north, or which way north is, which is really handy should you be traveling north, but other than that, it's merely just a reference. Now, in order for a compass to be effective, what it really needs is it needs a map. Now, with an overview of where you want to go, and all of the obstacles that are in your way, along with a frame of reference, you can get anywhere you want. Pretty exciting. Our careers in the fire service are an adventure. So along this adventure, we make a lot of friendships. We build the bonds of brotherhood and sisterhood. We see people at their highest, and we see people at their lowest. We experience a lot. We also have goals, and we also have ambitions that will get us through our careers, so that at the end of this adventure, we'll find ourselves in the meadow of retirement, and we'll be happy, and we'll look back on our career and recognize that we've done something important, and that we've met everything we wanted to meet in our career. When we start out on this adventure, usually we start out with the first question, and the first question a firefighter is always asked, why do you want to be a firefighter? And we all answer pretty much unequivocally the same way. We say, well, I want to help people. I want to be there. I want to help them. Okay, with that knowledge, we will get you started on the trailhead of your career. And the trailhead of our careers is recruit training. And we start recruit training in our probationary process, and we get you headed down the road. And down the road is very linear for that first 12 months. It's exactly what you need to do. What tests do you have to pass? What information do you need? What do you have to do to prove yourself to continue your career? Now that's really great. The compass and the map are already given to us. It's provided for us for the first 12 months, but what happens at the end of that 12 months? What happens at the end of the 12 months is you're standing in the middle of the forest wondering, where do I go? I want to make it to retirement. I want to make it to the end of my career. I need a compass. I need a map. And very quickly we realize that our frame of reference, our compass, well, that's mentoring. Those are resources we have inside and outside of our agencies that will help us to keep direction. Our map, that's career development. That's the path that we take in our careers to achieve the goals that we would like to set forth. This is how we avoid pitfalls and landmines. This is how we know when we're climbing up a hill and cruising down. When I got started as an officer, I noticed something right away. People stopped asking me the question. Nobody asked me, why do you want to be an officer? I assumed they thought I wanted more money, more privilege. Maybe I wanted to tell them what to do on a fire scene or just give a really great size up. I'm not sure. But I knew something about myself and why I wanted to promote. And that's why I'm talking about this today. See, I'm really good at making maps. I'm really good at helping you identify what you want to do in your career and helping you understand why your map may be different than his and helping people to achieve their goals. I wanted to be an officer because I want to help people with their influence. And so I took this knowledge and I said, the agency needs, my department needs career development. We need to allow our people to achieve their goals and to find fulfillment inside and outside of their job. And I have some mentors that helped me with this process, and the organization supported me. And they actually gave me a committee. And that committee has helped me to bring this dream to reality. And I'm going to get to what our program is here before long. But along the way, we learned some very valuable lessons. And so before I present what our program is, I want to talk to you about our lessons excuse me, I want to talk to you about the lessons that we learned along the way when implementing a career development program. And I tell you this not so much that I hope you go back and start your own career development program. I present these to you so you guys understand that you are in career development regardless of what you're doing in your career. And that these are the basics of what puts the program together, what holds everything together. So first and foremost, we recognize you have to have formal programming. Career development can't be informal. It can't be ad hoc. Too many people have done this before where they said, well, this is how to get along. This is how you become an officer. Just do as I did. Take all the classes that I took and you can become an officer. Well, that's not following your map. That's following their map. Okay, that's not creating your career. That's not allowing you to achieve your goals. You have to have formal programming which will allow you to access all the material, to achieve all the goals, and to find relevant information in the fire service. I'm sorry, but training programs from 1980 may not apply today. We have to find relevant information that will fulfill our career development goals. The next thing we learned is you have to have a captive audience. You are a captive audience. You are here on the Saturday before Christmas at a fire conference. You are captive. You are engaged in your careers, and I applaud you for it. And I love that you're here, and this is a great experience. Career development in your organization needs to maintain a captive audience. You have to keep the interest of your people, because if you don't have the interest of your people, they're not going to take advantage of the programs. And a word of caution when it comes to career development, it's not just tactical skills. You need to know how to use a 2.5. You need to know how to use a Halligan. You also need to know leadership. You also need to know interpersonal communications. You also need to know dealing with conflict. Those are other skills that we need to take advantage of within our career. The third thing that we recognized was the value of mentoring. I've already hit on it just a little bit so far. Mentoring is what makes this entire thing work. It is the oil in the machine. It's the lubrication in the chain. Without mentoring, career development does not work. You have to have mentors inside and outside of your organization. Mentoring allows you to fail and learn from your failures. It allows you to have a sounding board to hear just how silly that idea might sound, or if you went about that the right way. So, my team and I got together, we took these 3 concepts and we applied them to a need within our organization, and we recognized that in order for us to be successful in our organization, we were going to have to address this. The first thing we did is we looked at our firefighter curriculum. Now, the firefighter is the basic level in the fire service. Everybody in this room started as a firefighter. Nobody gets hired as a fire chief without being a firefighter. It's just how it works. You have to go through those steps. And we identified that there are differences between the expectations on a 20-year firefighter and a 2-year firefighter. On my engine, if I have a 20-year versus a 2-year, I expect different things of that senior firefighter. They have a different experience level. They have a different understanding. They've seen more. They've done more. My 2-year firefighter is still growing and developing, so I have different expectations. So what we're in the process of doing right now is doing a job task analysis of our rank of firefighter. And we're applying all of the skills based on longevity within the organization. So at any point in your career, you should be able to look and say, I'm a 10-year firefighter. What should I know? What does the organization expect me to know or to be able to do or have mastered at this point in my career? And it's, again, not just tactical skills. We're also talking leadership. We're talking about some of the non-traditional fire skills that will help us grow professionally. We've all heard the term senior firefighter. Wow, you're the senior man on the engine today. Good luck. Well, if the organization is recognizing that as an informal leader within your agency and not providing leadership training and not providing interpersonal communications, you're failing that person. You're not allowing them to succeed in that job. So we have to be able to build this up. We have to be able to build up that individual and provide all of the resources at any point in their career. If all you want to do is be a ride backwards, backstep firefighter, I support you. I think it's noble and I think it's wonderful. I'm not saying in order to be successful in the fire service you have to promote, because I don't believe it. You can be a great firefighter without promoting. But if you're interested in some sort of specialized program within your agency, we should support you. You should have access to all the information that will take you into whatever direction your career wants. You should be able to follow your map. Say you're really interested in hazmat, or And Portland's a little unique because we have our Marine program. You really want to drive the boat. Before you move into a specialty assignment, you should be afforded the information and knowledge prior to appointment in that job. This is training that we can do on duty in your engine house and get you ready for appointment so that on day one, you at least have a base knowledge that will allow you to be successful in that job. The biggest piece on here is the bottom one there. It's our officer development. And this is a very large topic in the fire service right now. As a matter of fact, it goes back to 1966. 1966 is the first time that the IAFC, the International Association of Fire Chiefs, recognized we need to train our officers. The Wingspread Conference, they said, we need to come up with a model that will train our chief officers and our company officers to prepare them for the future of leadership in the organization. Every 10 years, they come back and they meet on that topic. And in 76, they said, we didn't cut the mustard, we need to fix that. 86, they said the same thing. In 2015, the National Fire Academy started the very first class of the Managing Officer Program, which is curriculum intended directly at company officers. 49 years later, do we finally, on a national level, provide training at the National Fire Academy for company officers? It's a big need, and it's a big question because different agencies have different responsibilities for how they train their officers and the expectations of their officers. NFPA 1021 is our company officer standard, and it's what sets the requirements at all 4 levels of that standard. Portland took that, and we created the amoeba. I'm not going to break this down. This is merely a visual. But what this is our officer development program at a glance. This is where we started. And what we did is we took the standard, all 4 levels, which is each one of the quadrants on the map there. We said, what is the knowledge, skills, and abilities that an officer within our agency should have? And how are we going to address that as we train the future leadership of our agency? Now, I don't know about your departments, but my department has lieutenants, captains, and chiefs. Really a 3-rank system for 4 levels within the standard. So what we identified is we're missing a piece here. We're missing the transition. And it's been well documented, it's been well known that the biggest jump a firefighter will make in their career is the jump between firefighter and company officer. Moving from the back seat to the front right is a daunting experience. There's a lot of information you have to know, a lot of pieces you have to put together in order to become a successful officer. So we built our transition training program to address that need. And so now, when a member decides that they may be ready to move into the rank of lieutenant, we've built a pre-promotional training program which will provide a foundational knowledge for them to move into the rank of lieutenant. Now, this information includes all of the NFPA Fire Officer 1 requirements, but it also fills in a lot of the question marks that our crews have and that our members have when they go to promote to the rank of lieutenant. Some of the raw skills. How do I run our mobile data terminals? What are the computer programs I need to be familiar with inside the station? How do I do the basic everyday tasks an officer would do? Because when they do promote, we will then move into the 2nd level, or the Fire Officer 2 Lieutenant Training Program. And in this Lieutenant Training Program, this is done while they're on probation. We're going to train them to the Fire Officer 2 standard while they accomplish their task book in Fire Officer 1, because we still have to work through DPSST on our task books. But we're also going to teach them how to be supervisors. Because for us, our lieutenants are frontline supervisors. It's important that we support that role and responsibility. When they're ready, they've reached a point in their career as a lieutenant and they would like to become a captain, we will then train them to the Fire Officer 3 standard through a blended curriculum of pre- and post-promotional training where we introduce management. Our lieutenants are supervisors, but our captains really start to fulfill the role of entry-level managers. Once we've established that and they've become great managers, now we're ready to start them into the chief's curriculum. And our chief's curriculum will address executive level development. How do you build the next fire chief? Because let's be honest, we promote from within. So if we promote from within, the person that you came to this conference with could potentially be your fire chief. Your driver next shift could someday be the chief of your organization. So we have to have this program to continue to build individuals up. Now, I know some of you may be saying, well, we have officer development, or we have driver development, we have career development, we're good. Check. And that may be the case. I'm merely describing what we've gone through. But the thing that sets our program apart, what I think is really special about the way that we're approaching this, is that all of our programs are interdependent. Everything we do ties back into itself. So we talked earlier about the senior firefighter, and we're supporting them with leadership training. Well, that mirrors what we're teaching in the officer development training, so that we can learn to push and pull from each other. Basically, with all of the programs that we've implemented or are in the process of implementing, we're trying to build an atmosphere within our organization. An atmosphere that's adaptive to change, that's willing to take on the challenges of the fire service. And I, much like most firemen, have acronyms for everything, so I consider this the 3 E's of organizational atmosphere. And this is what we're trying to accomplish within our agency. This is the atmosphere that we want. We want an environment that will allow our employees to grow personally and professionally. We want them to be able to fail and not be afraid of repercussions, to learn from their failures and to continue to grow as people. We want to expand our educational opportunities. Programs like what you're in today, Firemanship Conference, which is coming up in February, Winter Fire School, the National Fire Academy, Left Coast Leadership Symposium, and those just name a few. We want to get our individuals out into these training programs to learn what's in the industry, to learn the cutting edge techniques and technology. What new management styles can we adapt into our agency? We're also encouraging our folks to go out and get an education. Go back to school. Finish up your bachelor's degree. Don't be afraid of a master's. Push yourself. As a matter of fact, since we've started this, and I only know because I've only been watching since we've started, we've had, I think, 6 members in our organization have either started back into a bachelor's program or have started a master's. Encouraging education helps. Encouraging education helps you grow the future of your organization. The final E in our atmosphere here is exposure. We want to expose our people to industry leaders. We want to expose our people to known and proven entities inside and outside the industry. Allow them to grow, network, and connect. Additionally, we want to do that inside of our agency. If you have a strong leader in a position, allow them to mentor. Take time out of their schedule to have one-on-one meetings with up-and-coming members of the organization. Take the time to grow your agency inside out. I can't say it's easy. I can't say that everyone's bought in on this. We've hit some roadblocks. I wish I had a map for how to implement these programs, but I don't. But what we're starting to see is we're starting to see the budding phase of the success in these programs. We're starting to see folks recognize that the map and compass works in their careers. That they can go now and they can identify what's important in their careers and they can achieve the goals that they want to achieve. When you guys are done here today, I want you to go back to your departments. I want you to take a good hard look at your map. And I want you to reach out to your mentors and see if your compass is still working. I want you to sign up for a class and I want you to push yourself a little bit and see how far down the road you can get. I thank you so much for listening. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the day, and thank you for staying awake after lunch.